Hello everyone. In this session, we learn about how to efficiently debug your code. First of all, when you usually want to debug your code, you use console.log to print out the values of your variables and then understand what is happening in your code. This process is very inefficient because you need to rerun your code from the very scratch again and again. So now we learn how to debug your code efficiently in VS Code. The process I am showing is a bit specific for VS Code, but you can easily extrapolate and understand how it works in any editor or your console in the browser as well. So let's start. First of all, let me explain to you the program we have. Over here in the constructor of app_component.ts, we call this .first. This first function initializes two variables, out and separator, which are then returned after adding to this dot second. This dot second just returns a string which is second. So this is a fairly simple program. So let us try to debug this. By the way, this program is a standard Angular project. It has recently been initialized and just this code has been added to the app component TS. Also, I have already served this. So let's see how to debug. Before starting to debug, you need to install some extensions. So go to the extensions tab and over here search for debugger. When you search for debugger, you'll get a lot of debuggers, and what we need to install is debugger for Chrome, debugger for Microsoft Edge, or debugger for Firefox. Depending upon which browser you want to debug on, you should choose one of them and then install it. I would go along with the debugger for Microsoft Edge. Once you install this, let's go to the debugging tab. So you can see the debugging tab over here. So let's click on it. When you go to the debugging tab, you should be able to see these three buttons. Over here, you'll also see create a launch.json file. So click on the launch.json file. Then it will be asked to select an environment. As we are going to use Edge, I choose Edge Launch. You should wait a moment and you'll automatically get a launch.json file over here. Let's retry it again. Yeah. So once you get the launch.json file, you need to configure it. Most of the configurations are okay, but to set the debugging configuration correctly, you need to change the URL. As we are running an Angular project which runs on the port 4200, you have to set instead of 8080 4200 over here. So once you do that, just a second, let me change the font size of the window. Yeah. So once you change this to 4200, save the file. After that, press F5. Once you press F5, the debugger browser will start. So your code, whatever you have created the website on, it will be visible in the newly opened window, which has the title as debug. Now, what we want to do is we want to see how the code works in our app component.ts. So whichever is the first line where you want to start analyzing your code, you should create a checkpoint or a breakpoint at that point. So we want to start analyzing our code from line 16. So just to the left of line 16, you'll see when you hover over it a red dot. Click on this to create a breakpoint. You can restart your code by clicking on the restart button on the toolbar. So once you do restart, you can see that our code has now stopped at the breakpoint. Currently, the code execution has stopped and it is waiting for us to take control of the code from here. If you have a look at the browser, you can see it's still loading. That's because our first function is called from the constructor, and as the constructor has not yet finished, the code blocks, the HTML blocks have not yet been initialized. So our code is stuck over here. Now what we want to do is we want to understand how the variables change on each step. So we can add inside our watch the variables which we want to understand and see the output of. So I'm creating a variable out which we'll try to watch, and next I'm also creating a variable separator. Both of them are undefined right now because this line of code has not yet been executed. So we'll keep watching the value of these two variables as we keep on changing and going through the debugger. Before we start skipping over the codes, let's try to understand what step over, step into, and step out means. Step over means that you will keep on going over the next line of code. So when you are on line 16, if you do step over, you will directly go to line 17. If you're on line 17, you do step over, you'll go to line 18. And after that, the code will go on as it is, as the flow of the code goes on. But if you want to, let's say, step into, so after this 18th line, you want to get inside this dot second function. You want to see what the code lines are being executed inside this dot second, then you should use step into. If you want to go outside of this function, you want to finish the execution and just want to go after the function has been executed, you should use step out. So to recap a bit, step over will just skip over each line. Even though a function is being called, it will not go inside the function. Step into will go inside the function on that particular line, and you can then go inside the function and then understand the code over there. Step out will finish all of the codes in the current function and then go to the parent function which had called the current function. So with that, let's go and use the step over function. So once we do the step over function, you can see that our 16th line code has already been executed. So our out variable has been initialized and it has the value first, which you can see over here. If we again do step over, the separator variable will also be initialized. So let's do step over, and you can see our separator variable has also been initialized and has the value first space pipe space as it should have been. Now if we press step over again, it will directly go on to the next line. So it has finished executing this line, and when I do step over again, it has come out of this dot first function. That is how step over is supposed to work. It does not go inside each function, but it just skips over the current functions. So next, if we want to understand what is happening in this dot second, we need to use the step into function. So I'll restart the code. Yeah, so we again start from this big point. I do step over and then I again do step over. Now instead of doing step over, I'll press step into. If I press step into, you can see that I have gone inside the second function. Over here, we are on the first line, which is also the last line of the second function. And if you notice over here, out and separator are not defined. That is because out and separator have the scope of only the first function. So when we are in the second function, out and separator are undefined. If we do step over, then we'll get out of this function, or we can use step out. If we do step out, we go back to our first function After the second function has been executed, you can see our variables again have the values because out and separator have the scope to be seen only inside the first function. If you want to see the use case of step out, let's restart the code again. So we are again at this breakpoint. Let's say we do not want to understand what happens in the next two steps. We just want to go to line 12, which is where this dot first had been called. You can directly use step out to go out of the current function. This is how you can use the debugger to debug your code, and you do not need to rerun your code or use console.log again and again to understand what is happening. You can also try to analyze your variables by putting them in the watch. So this is it about debugging. Most of the debuggers in every editor follow the similar names: step over, step into, and step out. So you can easily understand how to debug in PyCharm as well as any other editor. Thank you.